Oh, blah, 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 I'm model behavior. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Do we have to put up with this? I mean, I think we can do better than this.
Here is a man that has not only turned it around 180 degrees,
180 degrees.
but he's gone another 360 and then
360.
and then another 180.
Just call me Natalie Imbruglia, lads, cause I'm torn. I'm real torn about this. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. I'm all out of faith. This is how I feel. Alone and I'm ashamed. Bound and broken on the floor. Actually, I'm not that familiar with Natalie Imbruglia. She was definitely going through something. I'm just dealing with an action figure that's falling apart. Because this is the Marvel Legends review of Astonishing Beast. I got some thoughts. Want to hear them? Here it goes. Marvel Legends, you are the reason why I drink. Actually, you're not. I don't really drink that much at all, really. Lost a lot of weight recently, so you got to be careful with your metabolism, because I found out a couple of pints goes a long way when you've lost some weight. So this beast here, the blurst of Marvel Legends? Yeah, I think that's fair to say. The blurst of Marvel Legends. What I'm really worried about Marvel Legends, also G.I. Joe, Hasbro in general, is the way that the company seems to be going the WWE route. And look, I haven't liked WWE for decades. I still follow it. But it's been now bought out completely by people who don't care about wrestling. Triple H is still involved in, the creative, but it's run by people who don't give a monkeys. They don't care about wrestling. They probably don't like wrestling. They probably think it's dumb, but it does make money. And that's where Hasbro is now as well. Unfortunately, for the last few years, it's been run by people, not the Marvel Legends team, not the guys that we see. Dwight and Dan and formerly Ryan, those are the creatives there who are doing their best with what they got. Unfortunately, the people higher up are the ones who are tightening those purse strings until they're... I can't do a good tight sound. That's how tight they are. Those are the tight purse strings of Marvel Legends. And so we get stuff like this. I don't know what factories have maybe changed or what products, what type of plastic, but it feels cheaper. And that's a real shame because there's nice stuff in here. There's genuinely nice stuff. And I don't want to mark the beast down too much for limbs popping out because you know what? That happens with some high-end figures as well. Sometimes that's not a flaw. That's a feature. When you've got features or manufacturers like Four Horsemen or various other ones where the idea is you can pop things and kit bash them and put them together and have some fun. The fact that you can pop out limbs is not a bad thing. But for Marvel Legends, unless it's a Build-A-Figure, that shouldn't be the case, especially for what is probably the most high-end figure of the line. Because let's face it, not all figures are made even when it's not a Build-A-Figure line. So they should kind of technically sort of be the same. They ain't. This is definitely the most highfalutin character of this particular wave. And yeah, like you can see where there is highfalutin stuff going on. The main thing being, he's 100% new. I mean, stop me if I'm wrong. I know you will. But I don't think there's anything reused on here. This is a brand spanking new Astonishing Beast. That in itself, great. Love it. Awesome. But it does just feel like, yeah, I think because the arm popped out when I was just opening it up, that instantly set me on the back foot. And then I was thinking, it feels a little bit cheap. Does it? Does it feel a little bit cheap, or has that just been put into my mind? Now my mind's just like, this is a cheap figure. I don't know, maybe it's not. Maybe I'm just seeing it that way. You know what I mean? I think you know what I mean. So going down the figure, the sculpt is nice. 2 different heads. I love that. 2 distinct looks. That's real good, because you might have thought Marvel Legends, they'd be like, oh, well, we've done all this brand new sculpting for the figure. 1 head's all you're getting. Nah, they went all in. That's real nice. I really appreciate that. So you've got the more relaxed beast face, and you've got the rah, coming to get you kind of look. That's really good. One thing I would have really liked a lot more, though, is if there was more movement in his neck. With the hair at the back of his head, you can't really move his head back very far, so it's difficult to get him in a kind of a lunging beast sort of pose, because it just doesn't quite have the movement that I would like. If they could have just engineered this to be able to move back a little bit further, it would have been nice to have him being more like, rah, yeah, coming to get you, as opposed to, coming to get you. It makes all the difference. But then we do have a lovely wide butterfly. I mean, that's great. That really does have Beast being able to jump, leap through the air with the huge range of motion on the butterflies. Again, real nice. Real good stuff. So that actually, like, the more I play with it, the more I think, you know what, that is kind of lovely. Going down the dumbbell torso joint here, that's great as well. Lovely range of motion, a full 360, brother. Yeah. You can have an about face if you do a 360 followed by a 180. Yeah. So that's great too. Plus, we got the ab crunch as well. I think that looks real nice. I think it works really nice. You don't have the waist swivel, but you don't need it because you got the torso swivel. So I'm happy with that. I'm absolutely fine with that. Plus, the actual costume itself, the X is all sculpted in as well. It's not just black and yellow painting. They've sculpted the corners of the X as it comes around his body. It's a weird costume that he wears, but it's accurate. It's how it looked in Astonishing X-Men, so it's good enough for me. And then going on down, we got the thigh swivel. The thigh swivel feels a little bit stiff, but it's okay. It does the job. And then similarly for the right-hand side, it's perfectly all right, and there's no big gaps or anything. So that's great. That's cool. No issues there. The double-jointed knees, not a pin in sight as well. Again, credit where it's due. So not a pin in sight on this guy right here. And then going on down, you've got no calf swivel. All right, so that's one thing to be aware of. Not a deal breaker though. That's okay. It would have been nice to have had an extra cut in the calf, but it is what it is. And then of course we've got the double jointed feet as well. The actual toe articulation allows you to get some nice beastie poses there too. A couple of spare hands as well. And also, I really love just a little thing. I love the way his fur comes down over his wrist gauntlets as well. It's a little touch, a little soupçon, if you will, but it makes all the difference. His hand positions and placements are nice. We got the read your special claws, and also just the gripping hand, so you can have him holding the beakers or things from the Retro Beast. That works kind of nicely too. Then with the paint job's where I lose a few points, a little bit, but only a little bit. He does have this kind of darker wash on his face. I don't know if it's a wash or a highlight. Like, I use the terms interchangeably. I know that's terrible of me, but here we are. So the darker colors on the face do bring out more detail, and I do appreciate that. I would have liked maybe a little bit more distinction with his fur, but maybe that would have been too much. I don't know. That's something I'm always so cognizant of when I'm doing reviews. I'm cognizant of a few things. Despite everything, I love action figures to death. And secondly, I still don't know a lot of things about them. So I don't know if less or more paint would have helped. But I feel like more paint would have made it feel more high-end. That makes sense. Maybe I feel like it needs to feel more high-end because it falls apart so easily that I'm like, this needs to feel more high-end. What can we do that would bring it up to that sort of level? I don't know. It's a real tough call. I like him, but at the same time, he kind of underwhelmed me. But maybe that's because he was falling apart. But then maybe that's really hypocritical because I might have a Mythic Legion or maybe a Storm Collectibles figure, and that might fall apart. And I'll just be like, oh, well, that's the point of those figures. You can pull them apart, put them together. So, and that's how you sound when you do impressions of me, FYI. Oh, blah, 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 I'm model behavior. I don't know what I'm talking about. But on that note of not knowing what I'm talking about, let's give this guy a grade. So for the Marvel Legends Astonishing Beast, I am going to give this guy 3.5 stars out of 5. He's a solid figure, but I think I poisoned my brain with the removable arm that just set me off thinking, this is cheap and not so good. Because he's definitely, with what he's got going on, he's the highlight of the wave. But the highlight with a big old floor, oof, it doesn't bode well for Marvel Legends. And also, like I was saying before, with the corporate structure of Hasbro and just chasing the almighty dollar, because, I'm not an idiot. Heaven forbid, I'm clutching my pearls. Heaven forbid a corporation chases money, It's like people will only do things for money. And that's just so sad. By the way, join the Model Behavior member section.
Go, bub.
Hey, what can I say? I am what I am. We all gotta eat. Am I right? Or in my case, we gotta keep ourselves in action figures. But I'm not gonna keep this one. So if you want to buy it from me, then check out my sales on the Model Behavior Facebook group. Although to be fair, if you're in America, this it's not worth it. So thank you to someone who tried to buy Juggernaut from me. And we went through the whole process and I was like, I'll just go and find out how much shipping was. 35 quid. No, sorry, that ain't gonna work. So if you're in the UK and you want to buy my stuff, then hit me up. Otherwise, happy shopping. So guys, that does it for this Beast review. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, keep displaying model behavior.
Cup of coffee. Big time.